Happy Monday. We are just getting set up here, so give us about another minute or so. We should be starting soon. All right, y'all. I think we are set. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So happy Monday to everybody. Hope y'all had a nice, relaxing weekend. I hope that everyone got to celebrate with a little bit of Father's Day activities. And let's get back into this market. So it's June 21st, 2021. My name is Jarad. This is Engineering the Markets. Let's see what the market has to offer today. All right, so starting off with our SPY. We talked last week about this idea of sort of a waning momentum inside of the uptrend that was occurring from low to high inside of the SPY trading range. We saw that the market was making a new all-time high, but the volume was lacking. We saw sort of a disinterest in the move, and that can be seen with sort of this flat trading volume. We saw a lot of chop throughout that rise. And then ultimately, we talked about some of the risk parameters that were known coming into the market. There was the jobs report and the CPI report as sort of the kickoff of some economic data that we expected the market to react to. We did see a little bit of volatility, maybe some preparation of hedging inside of the VIX and the VVIX, but ultimately we didn't see the price reaction until we got into the Fed and FOMC press conferences. Now, at this point, the technical pattern has triggered. We have seen that sort of rising wedge break bearish. We have come down quite significantly in the SPY. And what is most interesting about this latest drop is we've done so in the creation of a gap. And that gap has led us to close for probably the first time in quite a while below the 50-period moving average. Now, we've had reactions at this point in the past. Most of them have been either perfect touches or we've simply tested them, but never really had a strong close below the 50 period. You can see in recent past that even closures slightly below the 50 period on the daily have been met with very strong reactions back to the upside, and that ultimately sets lows inside of the longer day time frame trend, so day period trend. Now, the first time we've seen this closure below is not necessarily going to be a reaction from us as traders to, essentially assume that the trend is over. But we are seeing we're seeing some key indications that volatility is here and it's likely going to continue for a period of time. We have some elevated volume inside of this drop. So we know that this drop is being treated as a reaction. It's having an effect on long stopping out, new shorts coming in to take advantage of the momentum. And ultimately, we are cracking through areas where we expect market participants to stop out on a longer trend, specifically the 50 period on the daily. We're also seeing inside of the SPY multiple large sectors selling off quite precipitously. We talked about financials being a risk when in regards to the yield of the 10-year, and the fact that financials do like a specific sort of overall yield curve and sort of the short, mid, and long tail of different treasury index products. We also talked about how financials were a bit overbought. And similar to the SPY, they were making sort of a new all-time high on lackluster volume and lackluster commitment of bulls. We've seen basically false breakouts occur in the past, and these breakouts, once returning back to the trading range that they came from, have led to very sharp sell-offs, usually either testing the low end of the trading range, and that could be sort of your swing low of the previous pullback, or in the case of these larger precipitous drops, we're actually seeing a much sharper decline. And we can use our higher time frames as sort of a gauge to understand that, yes, they were overextended to the upside, and yes, we are seeing them pull back to the 20 inside of the weekly period. This may provide a short-term opportunity for a bounce, and we'll be looking to see if any of our inflationary sectors, think materials, which have done a very similar pullback, and to a lesser degree, think industrials, which are nearing the 20 period on the weekly. So a lot of our, I would say, like economic recovery, inflation-based sectors have dropped from the news last week. And we've also seen sharp corrections in other key areas of the market. We go to our futures, we can see that there's been some steeper corrections in some of our commodities. Corn and soybeans have had some decent pullbacks. I would say with soybeans taking the brunt of that pullback so far. We've talked about metals incessantly. We can look at something as obscure as platinum, which has dropped well below its previous trading range, and is starting to get that, once again, that sort of capitulation look with the high volume. And then we've talked about gold and silver, both of which had sort of counter trends to the upside against a longer term pullback in both of these metals. Silver more so in a trading range, gold was coming outside of a trading channel on a longer term pullback, looking at the weekly and the monthly charts. So technical structure here was that, yes, we were trying to essentially break through some longer term key resistance zones. And what sparked a lot of this downside momentum was the rush back to the dollar. Now, this pressure inside of the dollar, especially the sharp move back to the upside, we are seeing some of those cascading effects at the moment. The idea to take into potentially this week and moving forward is that with such a strong push and breakout of the dollar, we are experiencing potentially some shorter term bounces at the time that the dollar is pulling back. So for example, today the dollar does appear to be opening weaker relative to the past couple of sessions. And we can look to see, do equities, do commodities, do the metals, do some of the things that are inversely correlated to the dollar, reflect that pullback in the form of a bounce. And some products are going to react more sharply than others. I would say things that are more closely correlated, specifically the metals, may have a stronger reaction on a pullback. But even if the dollar does not pull back, if it is sort of consolidative in nature today and maybe in the next couple of sessions, then we will see if the metals can recover or if they are once again consolidating against a longer term pullback and downtrend that has formed. So some things to keep on watch. We also saw last week that amidst all of this weakness, the NASDAQ stood out as an index that not necessarily needed to pull back, but also is attempting to form a new all-time high. Now, specifically, if we look at the weekly, we can see that it did create a new all-time high, but we've talked about this a few times before. It's often quite important to close at a new all-time high, whether it be on the weekly or the daily, depends on your analysis and the time frame that you're looking to set up a trade. But overall, the NASDAQ really is looking quite healthy in the respect of the overall uptrend. Now, this is sort of that odd index out, the standout product that hasn't pulled back. And we have to ask ourselves, has there been any reason for that? We did see, specifically, I'll look at the 10-year, this particular index did drop last week, and that maybe alleviated some of the selling pressure in the tech and growth products. But as with last week's selling, we saw a lot of our markets correlate to the downside. Specifically on Friday, if you were looking at the SPY, you would be seeing about a 90 to 10 decline advance, or advance decline if I say 10 to 90. So essentially a large component of the SPY, most of the stocks that comprise it, specifically the S&P 100 with the values that I just used, a lot of those were to the downside. And we were seeing heavy selling pressure, specifically in those inflationary sectors, but it did start to carry over into other products. Now, the NASDAQ, the tech sector, if we look at something like XLK, very close to all-time highs. And if we look at something like XLY, sort of holding, looking to get back above a previous swing high that ultimately failed to hold overall. These are areas of interest. If this market is to bounce, will these continue to be standout strong sectors? And is there enough of a thesis to facilitate these to move to the upside, or are we simply seeing rotation back and forth again? We've seen this before. Financials were quite weak. Tech became quite strong, leading to those near all-time highs. So now, if the financial sector does bounce, will that capital flow out of tech, or will we see both sectors moving to the upside in sort of a correlated upside bounce? You could think of a dead cat bounce in the time frame of a sharper drop that we saw last week. So yes, there are some standouts in this market. This market is not all over bearish. We've seen growth return. We've seen sort of, and some people are mentioning here in the chat, we've seen things like software as a service, cloud. We've seen the EVs outperform in recent trading sessions. That may be coming to a short-term sort of pullback, but overall their performance has been quite stellar. And amidst the capital flow that is moving outside of inflationary trades, is it pouring back into other components of the market? And are these components large enough and facilitative enough to keep things like the SPY healthy? We're certainly seeing, those sort of technical breakdowns, the first close under the 50 period on the daily. The SPY is certainly in an elevated position overall. And if we return back here and simply look at the weekly, we see that, yes, this pullback is large relative to where we've came from, but the downside risk is quite, I would say there's additional downside risk based on previous pullbacks. We have not even tested the 20 period on the weekly. The first close under the 50 period on the daily is sort of a warning sign to maybe pull back the reins a little bit and to start to allow this market to set up once again, either for another bullish breakout, or in the case of downside, we want to wait for this selling to pause, look for that bounce, and then sort of sell into the bounce. At this point, the market may not be ready for entry in either direction because we've gotten our first leg of the move. That's the rising wedge setup that we saw last week. We've seen some downside. Now things may be stabilizing as we don't have as much binary information coming out of any particular meeting. Another thing to always consider with the SPY is the concept of value. And I'll bring up sort of a 90-day, 2-hour period to show 2 specific areas that are of interest. Now, you can see current pre-market action. We are sitting at what has been VPOC for essentially the past couple of months. Ever since the market has tagged roughly the 417 area, this area has set itself as value. And it's sort of the most balanced zone for the market to transact between buyers and sellers. Buyers agree that this area is fair. Sellers agree that it's fair. If we get too far to the downside, there's an imbalance. That imbalance helps lead us back to roughly 417. And then once again, if we get too far to the upside, the imbalance occurs more on the supply side, and we come back down to roughly 417 to sort of check in and confirm this balance zone is continuing to be stable. Now, when using this concept of sort of fading highs and buying certain lows, the overall target tends to be value. You're sort of playing the overextension of a move away from fair, and usually it becomes, once again, oversold or overbought, quote unquote. It depends on how you define some of those parameters. But in the grand scheme of things, the market is telling us that when we are in this area, things are considered fair. And moves away from this area are attempts to become, I would say, unbalanced. As a directional trader, we certainly want to take advantage of unbalanced situations. We either want to play the move away from value, which tends to be more of a challenging endeavor because you need some sort of range compression, some sort of catalyst. You need a reason for the market to move. And then if we get too far away and there's not enough energy, we can often return back to this area, which is what we've been doing recently. You will notice, based on this very simple view of the market, that there is also a very similar structure to the downside. There's roughly about a 390 VPOC. And if I were to pull the data back to not include the month of April onward and basically pull it back to additional 90 days, you would see that 390 zone was a previous value zone. The market said that that was fair value for a period of time. We moved away from it, and now we are trading in a different trading range. You'll also notice that there is this shelf, roughly the 406 area. And this was an area we evaluated when the market was closer to this price, roughly in this time frame here. What we noticed was that the market had set a very short-term area of value over a period of about 3 trading sessions. And that balance zone was an interesting spot for us to essentially review as the market was in a volatile sell-off. You know, we had that false breakup roughly above 420. We pulled back sharply, and a lot of our index products, including the QQQ, were selling off, leading to the SPY hitting this rough 406 shelf. This provided a great buying opportunity, as we can see in previous history. But now that we're coming back to the main zone of value, what we want to interpret is if we have to pull back once again, if we get another sell side move, this shelf is going to be a key zone. Not so much the fact that we are tagging a previous low, which, we saw much lower prices, roughly 402 was sort of the overall low on the previous swing low. But more specifically, this value zone, it's a small one. If we get here, what do we do at this spot? Because if we break through it, and if we come back and say that, yes, the market is rejecting this value, there is what is called a pocket of risk below this zone. And this is where market participants essentially have not established any sort of confirmation as to whether this is support or resistance. They've simply trended through this area and not left a lot in the way of any sort of structure. Which means that if we get something much larger to the downside, much more, I would say in the form of a larger correction, might not even get to the percent of a crash, but we're thinking roughly 10 to 15% downside on the SPY. If we get something like that, the area that's appropriate to look for inside of the volume profile is the next area of value. And as you can see, that is sitting roughly at 390. So as we are getting this sell swing, it's important to take advantage short term, use our pattern and our technical analysis along with the risk factors that we got with the FOMC and some of the, I would say, fear of the idea of the potential of tapering, the reaction in the dollar, the sharp move back to bonds, which we have not looked at heavily yet, but these are reacting in a very similar way to the dollar, where market participants are sort of anticipating the idea that maybe the bond buying programs will cease sooner than expected, and therefore provide less depression on bond prices, which makes this a more attractive investment. And therefore we are seeing that sharp potential move to the upside facilitated by buying volume. We also see a little bit of technical structure with sort of that wedge compression and the fact that the moving averages have started to cross on the daily. We talked about that a bit last week. So there is risk in this market. There is always risk in a market. It is important to understand short term, what risk does the market see and how is it reacting to it? Midterm, if the risk perpetuates itself, where are areas of interest? Where has the market been in the past that we can look for as opportunities, both to the long side or even as targets if you are currently in some sort of short position, hopefully more so in the SPY, potentially the Dow, which has had some of the largest impact to the downside, really starting to move away from previous value. And unfortunately for the Dow, it was in more of a trending structure. So the fact that there's not a lot of support value zones below until quite a ways away, this drop could be met with a lot of pressure to the downside before we find serious buyers. If you're in those positions, you need to have clear targets for your trade, knowing that this market is a bit overbought, knowing that we are coming into some potential short-term buying zones for some sort of trend trader or someone who's simply following key moving averages. These areas could react quite strongly against your position. So always be looking to see how to protect yourself in regards to sort of counter trend reactions. And just keep in mind that the overall context of this market remains one of a very strong bullish, I would say, markup period inside of the overall markets. We're seeing a sharp correction. This correction could last for some additional intraday trading sessions. We're certainly going to see how to take advantage of certain setups if they set up correctly. But overall, the idea here is that we've seen some fear return. There have been large, I would say, correlated sessions last week. If tech were to also get correlated to the downside and everything else is still in a selling posture, then this market doesn't really have a lot of legs to stand on at that point. We simply don't have a strong sector helping us to the upside. And then our final sort of overview would be looking at something like healthcare, which, yes, has not sold off, but also really hasn't outperformed. We've just seen a lot of consolidation recently in a trading range. So bringing all this into sort of a final synopsis, this week is likely to be higher volatility than past weeks. Things are rebalancing in regards to inflationary sectors starting to take a bit of a correction. Tech is outperforming at the moment, but we are at key resistance zones in tech and we have not broken through them yet. So there is still potential for sellers to come in and push those, those key stocks, those candidate stocks back to the downside amidst a weak market. And if all of that does occur while we see volatility continue to rise, while we see the volatility of the volatility continue to increase, meaning that hedging activity is still occurring, they're willing to pay up for those hedges. And if we see our sort of correlated risk indexes, things like our notes starting to facilitate down, bonds getting bought, the dollar moving higher, all of these things are putting pressure in different areas. The market may simply sort of give up at some point and allow for that capitulation sell to occur over the course of a couple of sessions before really seeing some stabilization back in a zone of interest. Think about that 405 shelf that we're looking to have as sort of a final trading range target and the obvious downside risk of whether we lose that area. So with all of that, come into this week with an open mind, as you should every single week. We finally got some reason to consider some downside pressure. We are at value in the SPY, so don't necessarily go too heavy too fast, but look for those setups more so than thinking about short-term bounces, which you can play more on an intraday time frame. This market may be setting up for a much larger correction, and we will see things occur that allow us to take advantage of that over the next couple of days. Right now, everything is sort of moved in that first wave of selling, and we're starting to set back up again. Whether we set up bullish or bearish is yet to be determined, but ultimately that first round is sort of, I would say, completed. We may likely get sort of that dead cat bounce, and then we'll see, whether that's enough to set up back to the upside to test highs, whether tech starts to fall apart, and whether all of these risks continue, or if it's just a one-time, reaction to some binary news. That's the key thing. So with that said, I'm Jarad. This is Engineering the Markets. We'll take a deeper look at this a bit more tomorrow, and we'll talk about some concepts that you may start hearing in the news cycle. Things like yield curve are becoming sort of the talking points once again. We'll cover what that means, how that affects the markets, and how to take advantage if we do see those conversations continue and the overall effects of some of the trading products that we like to look at. So with that said, trade safe, stay tuned for pre-market prep, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market Prep. I hope everyone had an amazing weekend, an amazing Father's Day yesterday, and I hope you're having a great morning today. Good morning,
Carlos,
Norm. How are you
good
doing?
morning. I'm doing well, brother, but you are not streaming into the room.
I am not. Okay,
I
let's
don't
see
I don't
here.
see your screen. I don't think you've
Yeah,
got there you go.
I got the volume now. The screen is
Now we're
on
good.
though. Can you guys see
Okay.
the screen?
You're good
Okay.
now.
Okay, perfect.
Just came in.
All
Good
right,
morning.
perfect. Good
Hope
morning,
you had a
guys.
great Father's Day, brother. All the fathers
Yes.
out there. Hope everybody had a great one.
Yes, we did. Had an amazing time. So hopefully everyone else did as well. All right, guys, let's get to it this morning. Looking at our gappers list right now, not so bad. It is early though, so it can get pretty crazy. But right here, we got a couple of things gapping up this morning. A couple of low flows, not too bad. A few things in the red today. We have Bitcoin. I see leading the way, guys. Riot,
Yeah.
Mara, they're
Yeah.
down pretty significant, 7, 6, and 5%. On the three that are, I think these three are probably the major ones that we see all the time as far as correlated to the Bitcoin stuff here. So, Norm, an update on the overall market for this week, what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, I was at jury duty Friday, and that's why I was not here. But I was, when I was sitting around, essentially staring at walls, getting, waiting to be called, which never happened. Was just watching the market sell off. Pretty interesting. So, kind of a rough day a bit on Friday, but we are bouncing back a little this morning. We're in that slow period. Not a lot of traders have vacations and time off. We've got no earnings today. We've got no economic data today. So we'll see where we go.
Yeah, we'll definitely see
But
after.
speaking of Bitcoin,
Yeah,
I'll just hit all these at the same time. More Chinese regulation on Bitcoin mining has hit Bitcoin. Last time I looked, it was down around 32 ish, 33,000, somewhere in there. So that's taken all these back down again. That
most.
is the major undercurrent. And then a lot of these that I see on the Gap Up list are Wall Street bets, Reddit plays.
Yep. Which have been incredibly exciting, as we know, guys. AMC and the rest of these guys who even wish they just been incredible as we've seen over the last couple of weeks. All right, let's take a look at what we have here, guys. Let's go over our gappers. Let's starting with AEI. This is a low flow sitting at 7 million shares flow here this morning, and they are wait, that's not the same one. Hold on a second, guys. We have to link this up. So let's go to external linking, add link, and we're going to just scroll over here where we want this ticker to be processed and just hit OK, close that up, and that should work now. So AEI, here we go. So AEI, very active this morning, up 54%, 5.2 million shares traded. So this is definitely in play today. Let's get rid of all these tickers from last week. We'll add some new ones, some new rows right in here, and we'll add starting out this morning AEI. So AEI right now very active, guys. 5 million shares up huge this morning. Pre-market looking very, very good. As you can see here, it's flowing nicely. This is the type of low flow action we want to see, guys. When we're talking about good pre-market low flow stuff, this is it right here. You start over a nice little pop here, got everybody's attention, and now you're trending very nicely, holding on this 9 moving average here. So that is what you want to see. Sometimes you get this one pop and then things just go sideways and just start dwindling down. That's not good. You don't want to see that. I prefer a small pop towards the top here, and then it's slowly making its way like it is now. So this is looking very, very good this morning. TRCH, this was on our list yesterday. It's been on our list for a couple of days over the last weeks. Today, nice big gap up. Let's get our 5-minute here. We are up 33% on this one today after, well, that's the weekly. Hold on. Let's get the daily. That'll be F4. There it is. So again, consolidation happening right on here between 482 to about $6, 650 or so. And now we're getting a nice little pop here, guys. 33%,
Yeah.
13 million shares traded. This is looking nice.
Yeah,
TRCH.
they're in the process of a merger of sorts, and I don't know if that it's a little more complicated than that, I think. But anyway, and a special dividend. They had news on that came out, so they're getting the pop on that. AEI is a property developer that announced a partnership with Tesla for some homes they're building or something of that nature. So that's the skinny on those two.
Yeah, so AI definitely getting getting going here, hitting $8 now and more. Definitely on the move. ENOB here, this one, it is up 14.1, 900,000 shares traded right now. They are pre-market is not great. I like the pop here, but pre-market action is not all that interesting. The last couple of days they managed to gap up huge a few days ago. From there, just selling down. So again, I'm not just seeing anything great on this right now. Maybe a possible. It does have potential. Obviously, you look at that daily chart, you can see it has popped up in the past before. Actually, it's a low flow stock, so we'll put it down here. We'll see if it can get going. If not,
they do have a catalyst. They announced acquisition of a license for corona and flu treatments. So,
okay. All right, we'll take a look at that. AVXL, this morning, they are up nice, 12.4, 313,000 shares traded. Their pre-market action, a little bit concerning, not so much. Look at these wicks, though, the way they're forming. They're not really looking nice here. So we'll have to see. They have a nice daily, though. Nice ascending triangle was done here on Friday. We're getting the breakout this morning. Let's see where this goes. Again, I think it needs to be a little bit better. Flow on this is 67 million, so not too bad. I'm going to put it as a possible for now. I think the pre-market action is not the best at the moment. That could change. ATOS this morning, they are up 5.8, 375,000 shares traded. Pre-market action, it's not great. It's not exciting. Their daily does have a potential for a breakout and to hit some of these recent highs we had in the past year. 625, we have 675, so that could be interesting. Maybe a possible to float on this thing, 121, so 121 million, maybe a possible. I'm hoping we can find stuff as usual that looks better than that. All right, here's Wish. Wish we know has been just insane, and their daily is very interesting, guys. They're getting volume now too. There are 4 million shares traded at the moment. They're up 5.3. But what's interesting about this one is the way this daily is forming right here. We're slamming up against this area of support in the past, of resistance over the last 2 weeks or so, guys. You see it here hitting that 1207, and again, just struggling to stay above that. Last time we did that, we gapped up huge and sold off from 15 down to 10. So this morning, this thing does have potential. We know how explosive Wish can be. We'll add it on here, guys. It's looking really good, this pre-market action right now. Let's see if that can continue to get a nice little squeeze going here. VXRT, this one, very high short inflow interest. I'm looking at that now because it's popping up right here on VXRT, 27.8. And Norm, I think you mentioned Finviz had it last week at around close to 30, 29 or so. So relatively very high here. Right now, they are up 4%, 123,000 shares traded. We had fun with this a couple of months back. We haven't seen done anything great after that. So I'm not sure. It's a low flow. It's not a low flow stock. Maybe a possible VXRT. We'll come back to this. AMC, of course, is going to be on our list. This thing has been so much fun to watch, guys. It's just incredible. I know some of these levels we have here are going to be good, but let's remove them and do fresh ones anyway, because we got more new highs and lows in here. 3.8 million shares, up 4.1. Again, it just continues to be very, very explosive. We'll keep that one on deck for sure, and I'm sure we will for the coming weeks if it continues to trade the way it is with the volume is getting too. I got to tell you, this one, GameStop, right? First, it felt like it all started with GameStop when it first started with this Wall Street bets. And this one has not done much. AMC has definitely taken over like the meme type stock. It's like the captain of the meme stocks here. This thing is trading amazing every single day that we looked at it, and with volume, with very high volume. So let's keep an eye on that. ORPH, this is a low flow that was very active last week. A couple of times we saw this on our gappers list. We traded it. It was good. This morning, they're up 4%, 2.3 million shares traded. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, this thing had madness here, as we saw, from 5 to 875. So we'll see. We'll see. The last 2 days, though, Thursday and Friday, was not clean. Very, very choppy, especially Thursday. We're looking for a breakout continuation here that never came. And you can see just every time it hit that number, I forgot what the price tag was. It was just a massive sell-off every time. So it's very difficult to trade. We'll put it is a low flow stock, 25 million, more on the lower side. We'll put it here with the rest of the low flow stocks this morning, but definitely AEI is the one that's got it going on this morning, guys. So 7.5, good volume there, great pre-market action. GEO today not looking good. We'll skip on that. Very choppy pre-market action. Daily doesn't look great. CLNE we had some fun with this the last 2 weeks. Today, right now, I'm not seeing anything. I don't see anything great. Let's see how it did Friday. Yeah, Friday, very, very choppy. Yeah, I'm not sure about today. So we'll skip it for today. If it gets better, we can throw it back out here. Let's remove some of these levels, clean that chart up. Here we go. Bitcoin leading the way on the gapping down list. We have Riot this morning, and we have shares for sure. We have Mara with shares for sure as well. CAN, all of these down nicely, 5, 7, and 7.5. I always like to watch either Riot or Mara. I think these two are the best best trading ones for Bitcoin, at least the cleanest with the most volume. They're both are identical this morning, guys. You can pick whatever you like the best. I'm gonna go with Riot. They're down slightly a little bit more this morning. Their daily seems a little bit cleaner. No, it's exactly the same thing, guys. You can do whatever you want with that. I'm gonna put Riot on here. And then let's see down here. ALF this morning is again low flow sitting at 3.8. The last couple of days, guys, they've been popping here. Again, you got to be quick. This is a great, and again, you have to know what you're really good at. This is a great scalping type stock. That's what it is. And you have to be very patient. You got to get in quickly, get out even quicker on this stock. As you can see here, the way it trades, you got an initial pop here at the market open. That was nice, going from 6 all the way to 80. That's a 70 cents move on a $6 stock. That is prime time stuff right there. But again, look after that. It gets very, very choppy. So if you're looking for a 5-minute opening range breakup, an ABCD pattern, this might not be the right stock for that if you're really good at that, right? So you got to read the price action. You got to read the level 2. You got to read the volume very carefully. And you got to scalp it. That is what works well with this, right? As you can see, after a nice pop, it does get very, very choppy in here. So as far as this morning, pre-market action is pretty quiet right now, but we've seen it be quiet and still do some good stuff. I'm not gonna add it to my list because that is just not my type of style. But again, just keep in mind that that's the way you want to trade that thing. U1 this morning, pre-market action doesn't look great. They are down 2%. Right now, their daily does look interesting though. A couple of red days in here, some big drops in the last 5 days or so. And this morning, they're pretty much flat above the previous day close. Not doing a whole lot. Could be interesting if they want to lose this level. We do have shares for sure, and they are on short selling restriction. Maybe a possible. We can hopefully find.
Just remember
better.
It's low float.
Oh yes, it's got to come down here. See, yeah, you're right. Now that I look at it as a low flow, you got to have different criteria, and the volume is just
I don't like the
there.
volume on it for that.
It's not there for a low flow. So thank you, Noah, for pointing that out. I'm going to remove it here, guys. You got to have great volume. When you're looking at anything under 20 million shares traded, it's got to have great volume. Last one on the list, RLX. This one is not doing a whole lot. Their daily's nice, holding on to this $9 level here, previous day close. We have dipped below that this morning and trying to climb back above it. But for the most part, pre-market action is not great. Aside from this level here, I don't see anything great in the daily neither. So I'm not going to add it. Not a low flow stock. 953 million shares float. Again, I don't like the pre-market action on this one this morning. Norm, anything you like that we have not touched on yet?
Negative Ghost Rider. Throw it to the room.
You got it, man. Let's go over here and hop over with Myro AHT. Wow, let's take a look. We looked at this a few times last week. I didn't like the way it looked. I didn't add it. So again, I'm not sure here. This morning they're down 8.4, 2.1 million shares traded. Yeah, they got the volume, but even with the volume, this pre-market action, guys, just doesn't look great. I don't like what it did last week neither. If you hop in here, you can see how it traded. This was Friday. Friday things that they tend to be choppy, but look at it Thursday too. Even Thursday, it's not moving well. It's pushing some good volume around, but I just don't like the way these candles are forming here. I don't like the price action on it. So I'm not going to add that one based on that. CLNE, we looked at already, CLNE. Let's see, what did we say on CLNE? Yeah, the daily looks good. Pre-market action could be better. Again, I do like the daily for a possible breakout. This is one of those stocks that can explode. Since we don't have a whole lot that looks great on our list, we can add this one as a possible today. See where it goes. Twitter this morning. Let's see what's happening there. Twitter today. TWTR. Man, it's just been it's just consolidating. Not a whole lot. Friday they had a nice little drop here, nice recovery. But for the most part, their daily is just consolidating. They don't have volume at all. Only 14,000. We need a lot more than that, guys, for Twitter. So I'm just gonna keep it off the list for now. A ticker that we know very well, if it starts hitting our scanners, we can always tune into and see what's going on there. Or if somebody in the community is going to be watching it, you can definitely point it out to us. Here's Docu. Now, Docu guys, great day on Friday. Great couple of days overall in the last month of June for them has been amazing, guys. Starting with this huge breakout here, they had a nice little gap up. We had it on the list on this gap up day. That traded well, and after that, it's been just crushing it. But again, if you look at the intraday trading on Docu, it is very, it is spotty at best. They get very light volume. It is very difficult to trade. Their spread is not great neither. Right now, you're looking at 75 cents, and that can actually stay like that at the market open. It'll get better, of course, but it is just not a good trading stock. So I know they are in play. They have been in play over the last couple of weeks. But it's just not a great intraday trading stock, guys. By the way, talking about intraday trading, have you guys seen the swing tradings that Brian is doing? I saw his video yesterday, by the way. Every Sunday, Brian does a recap of the markets, goes into what he's watching, overall look of what's coming up for the week. And man, he is in some really good, interesting swing trades there. So you can sign up for his alerts, guys, on the website, variabletraders.com. Go to the education tab, scroll to the bottom, completely free, and you have to see the email. It's so clean. It is just a little recap of what the market is doing, the tickers he's watching, and that's it. You're not going to get bombarded with anything else but very clean stuff that he's looking at, his entries, X's, partials. And again, you just got to also get his book. You got to get his book and understand what's happening. And it's not just for YouTube, our members as well, because if you are day trading, that book can help you also understand the market a little bit better. The more you know, the better you are equipped and prepared to for this business. So definitely check that out. Here's Oxy, guys. Very choppy the last couple of days. Not doing a whole lot right now. 88,000 shares traded. But Oxy's known for having a horrible pre-market action. It's still trading well. I know with the news last week, things are a bit all over the place now, and we'll see how oil does. In the next coming days. But right now, I don't see a whole lot going on. I do like the daily right now, the support at 28 that we're getting here. We're kind of testing that this morning. We did Friday and Thursday and several days of the week before that. Let's see if that is going to hold today. But I'm not going to add it to my list, guys. If it gets going, throw it back out to me. Here's Citigroup. We talked about the banks last week. Citigroup probably was the one that had the biggest drop out of them all. This morning, they're trying to see some life here. They're up almost at 1%, 118,000 shares traded. My issue with the banks, they don't trade very well. Even on this drop, look at their intraday candles here, guys. Every candle overlapping the previous one. Obviously, on Thursday, it was a whole different story. They had a beautiful drop here. But Thursday, you didn't have to look far. Everything was trading well on Thursday. So I'm not going to give them too much credit for looking this good. There was a lot of stuff that looked good on Thursday as we saw the market drop there. So let's see here. Actually, we looked at Citigroup. Again, you can have this as a possible, guys. We'll see. This is really beat up. I think it's probably oversold. Let's take a closer look at that one. Here's X this morning. They are also down quite a bit right now, almost 1%, 118,000 shares traded. Again, not a very active pre-market action right now, so I'm going to keep it off deck for the most part right at the moment. What else we have, guys? All right, so that we looked at that. That's good. AEI, yes, AEI is on fire, guys. 9 million now, up 54%, getting a little bit of a pullback, which is definitely due because you are, green candles after green candles since 480 has not seen a red candle on the 5 minutes. So you're getting a decent sized pullback here, which is expected after such a nice run. Let's take a look at Plug this morning. They have earnings. Earnings this morning. Plug. I like Plug. If they have earnings, I'll take a look at it. Did it happen already? Or
Earnings.
Yeah. Did Plug have earnings? BMO this morning? I don't see it. Do they have earnings?
No, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay,
Nobody
that
has
makes
earnings.
sense.
I don't think anybody has earnings today.
Okay.
At least I looked at the calendar. It looked blank to me. Maybe I missed something.
Yeah. All right. So no earnings on this one, guys. Yeah, we would expect more volume, especially out of Plug for earnings. We'll keep it on here. Let's see if pre-earning activities do anything, but we'll have to see how it goes there. All right. Perfect, guys. Let's stop here. Let's take a look over. Oh, yeah. Let's get this. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. Let's get this over to our YouTube chat. What do you guys have this morning? What do you guys like? We're looking at Tesla today. Let's take a look. Tesla here. I like the daily on Tesla. NEO was great also last week, guys. A couple of good days on NEO. Traded very, very nice. Right now, their volume is not there. So although their daily looks great, their volume is not all exciting at the moment. Tesla's daily does look very, very nice, guys. So let's keep a lookout for Tesla for a possible breakout. But their volume is extremely light this morning. Same with NEO, Jan. So NEO doesn't look good right now as far as volume. We need a little bit more. They do have 443,000, but we know how NEO loves to trade heavily in volume. Look at their daily right here, right? They're usually above 50 million shares traded every single day, usually for the most part. And that's on days that they're not even in play. So 443,000 in the pre-market is not a whole lot for them, right? They're really not showing anything at the moment. BNGO, man, look at this daily, just holding on to the 750 as much as they can. Their pre-market action, though, it is horrible right now. Very choppy, 171,000 shares traded. I think they're just in a consolidation phase here, guys. They have been for the last, 2-3 weeks. Unless we see some kind of breakdown here, I don't think they are really in play. If we look at yesterday's, Fridays and the day before, that doesn't look too nice here. Maybe for scalping, but outside of that, not a whole lot of continuation there. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it does right now. Again, I just don't think they're really in play. But if they do start losing it here, that could be interesting. Next. Sleep, is that a stock? Sleep, what is that? Is that like a mattress firm type company? What is this? No, this is not. No, this is not it. Unless you're saying you're going back to sleep, you don't like what you see this morning as far as tickers.
That makes sense.
That does make sense. I'll be bullish on that. Nvidia here, guys, very active this morning. They're up, down 8.1. And 200,000 shares traded. I do like what I'm seeing here. What's going on with Nvidia? Seems to be the only one that's pretty active this morning from the big boys. So yeah, let's watch Nvidia. That looks good. What about Apple? Is Apple doing anything? Not a whole lot. But Nvidia,
I think Nvidia's getting hit because of how important their sales are of cards for Bitcoin mining and the issues in China.
Oh, okay. That could affect them. Yep. They're looking really good right now, guys. Nvidia. I like this drop here. I like the daily. Nice pop over the last couple of days here, giving some of that back. So that is good. Here we go. Coin. I haven't looked at coin in some time. Is that even trading well? Coin right now down 3.1, 88,000 shares traded. As far as the daily, I remember this. I haven't looked at this in some time, guys, since it IPO'd, but I remember it not being a great intraday trading stock. I remember it being very choppy the few times that we looked at it. Things can change once it IPOs and settles down. They can change the way they trade. But looking at this daily and intraday action, does not seem they have changed a whole lot. It looks very, very difficult to trade. You can tell here the volume is very light, guys. On some days here, only 3 million shares traded for the last 4 days. The last 4 trading days, only about 3 million shares being traded. So that's not a whole lot for stock, especially at $230. You're going to get some funky price action. So I don't like that this morning. Plug, we looked at that. It's okay. Plug's results today. Nvidia 441 split. Yeah, we heard about that. When is that happening? That's happening at the end of the month or something like that. There's Nvidia splitting, I think, or rumors. I don't remember, but I recall Brian talking about this last week. All right, guys, we're going to stop here. July. Okay. So we are going to.
It's not splitting today because the price would be 25% of what it is.
Yeah. And again, we've seen this happen before with Apple. Same thing. It's not really a catalyst. I think more of the chip situation with China. That's what's really moving this thing today, because that affects them directly as far as revenue. All right, guys, let's stop here. Let's go over to our community announcements. We'll come back and fine tune this list in a bit.
All right, quick weekly rundown. It is Monday, so we should have Brian's swing trade discussion at 2:30 this afternoon. And then this evening, the live onboarding and tech classes with Carlos, Kyle, Mike. Those start at 8 p.m. The Tuesdays and Thursdays, you've got trade reviews with Eamon at noon in the classroom, success webinars Tuesday nights, 8 p.m., psychology content, 8 p.m. Wednesday night. And then, of course, mentoring, the morning session with Andrew at 11 a.m. and the evening session with Thor at 8 p.m. That's Thursday. Also, don't forget, now we've got Jarad talking crypto on Fridays. All right. Tonight, speaking of crypto, tomorrow night, 8 p.m., you're going to have Kyle talking about securing your crypto wallet and broker account. And then next week we'll have Eamon's. He's going to just be doing a presentation on learning lessons from his best and worst trades. Then tomorrow night, 8 p.m., we've got Dr. Katz doing a town hall. He'll take 2 traders from the chat room and have an open discussion with them, moderate that about their trading journey, open for everybody to listen into and ask questions and the like. So that'll be tomorrow. Excuse me, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. And I'm not sure, it's not listed yet for what's the following week. If you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade of the day, mark it up with entries and exits. It should have entries and exits. Then put any commentary you can to describe the trade. Post it on Twitter, tagging at Bearable Traders, at MikeB_BBT, and at NormBBT. Also use hashtags BBT Family, Day Trading, and Stock Market. We'll announce the winner each afternoon on Twitter and in the room, and then the trades of the week are announced on Monday. The team votes on all the trades of the day from the previous week, and we'll announce that on Monday, as I said. If you're watching, forgot about the meetup slide in here. Saturday, July 3rd, go out and celebrate Thor's 40th birthday with obviously Thor, but Andrew, Carlos, Mike, and Kyle. New York City, 4:30 to 8 p.m. So please be sure to RSVP on the forum calendar for that so they know how many are coming. Should be a great time. Go have a drink on Andrew. If you're watching on YouTube, and you don't have to be a member to go there, by the way, any of these meetups are open. You can be a member, not be a member, doesn't matter. Go meet the guys. If you are watching on YouTube and you'd like to try out the chat room, use the promo code premarket24. It'll get you it'll get you a discount off the normal $39 price of the trial membership, which is 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room, unless there's a market holiday. Also give you access to onboarding classes every Monday night that I spoke about. Carlos and I always say Monday's a great day to sign up for that trial if you're thinking about doing it, because you can get it, look around, go to those classes, get all set up, and then you have the remainder of the week to try things out, see if it's a good fit. Just a reminder, once that's over, the 7 days, it just cancels, does not auto-renew or turn into anything else. And then also, if you want to become an elite member, use the promo code Fireworks40. It'll get you 40% off the annual elite membership.
All right, thank you. Excellent, Norm. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's see if I could. My Epic pen is acting up here a little bit, guys. Just give me 1 second. See if I can take care of this or not. We'll just move forward here. What do we have here? All right, we'll see if that fixes that. All right, very good, guys. Let's get into it. So we have, starting with, not a big list today, as you can see here. Not a lot that looks great, but we do have the few that we have here are looking pretty nice. Let's start with TRCH this morning. This one has been very explosive, consolidating here over the last couple of days. Now we're getting a nice little pop here, up 37% with some good volume. Now their pre-market action, though, we did get a nice little pop here early on, and now it's just been going sideways. And again, I hope this thing can break out and not just at the market open, just start slowly settling down here. Hopefully we can get some kind of action after such a nice pop on the daily. So we've seen this before, and sometimes doesn't do all that well. So we'll see what happens there. Here is Wish. Wish looks good. We'll keep this one on here. I do like their daily for a possible breakout. I think that's worth having on our list. Here is AMC. AMC also, guys, again, just kind of squeezing against this 65 area. 65 has been a very, very tough level for AMC. We tested it here a couple of times, have not been able to break out of that. The last time we broke out is on the initial gap up that obviously was insane, 37 all the way up to 72, and then the following day almost a retest, 68. Since then, we have not been up here, guys, almost an entire month. The month of June, we have not been above 65. So we'll see if we can get that going. We do have 4.2 million shares traded here at the moment. That is the play that will definitely get things moving nicely here. Here's Riot. We know Bitcoin stuff is down this morning. Riot is leading the way with Mara as well. Down 8%. I do like this drop here. Not doing a whole lot pre-market wise as far as price action. Kind of moving sideways a little bit here. Let's see if we're going to be losing some of these levels. We do have some levels towards the bottom here that we can test, some great areas of support and resistance. We'll mark those down in a second. And then we have NVIDIA. I definitely like NVIDIA. We'll keep this one on deck as well. All right, as far as possibles, we have Plug. We have AVXL, which actually looks okay. I'm just concerned with the price action here. But you know what? It's starting to get a little bit better. in there. The spread is still very nasty, guys. 80 cents, 40 cent spread here, still at the moment. So that's not good. It's got to get a little bit better. And we need, what's the float on this, by the way? Let's just make sure we're not dealing. I don't think it's a low flow stock, but let's just make sure. AVXL this morning, 67 million shares flow. So not a low flow stock. But again, it's just not trading all that clean pre-market. We have ATOS here, it's okay. VXRT, nah, and CONE, no good. Citigroup's probably the best one out of this group here. How many we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? We can move Citigroup up. I think that's looking very interesting right now. So we're getting a little pop up this morning, up 1.2. Let's see if we're looking to get some little relief here from just the massive sell-off for the last, what we have here, 10 days straight in a row, just all red, guys. I mean, it has not been pretty for them over the last couple of 2 weeks or so. All right, let's get to it. Let's do levels here. TRCH this morning, high of the pre-market all the way up 1020. Their low of the pre-market slightly above the highs from a few days ago here, 679. So the low of the pre-market there, seeing some resistance on that as well. Now hopefully becoming support. Again, I don't like the pop here and just kind of moving sideways action. Hopefully we can break out of this, retest at 1020 and get some kind of price action movement here. Again, we're just moving sideways and that's not pretty right now. We need some kind of movement here to make this pre-market action really pop out this morning. Moving to the left, we're hitting all-time highs on this thing. I think we are. I don't see anything else here towards the left. Okay, 2015, 2014, 13. All right, yeah. So this is all-time high, guys. It has not been up here. This thing opened up 2010. And it has not seen anything up here in the last couple of years. So all-time highs here, not much levels, but you do have some levels here in the pre-market. Let's mark them down. You do have this one here, obviously, some resistance happening there at $9. The whole dollars are going to be important. Over to the bottom here, you got a great area of support over around, it looks like 840. You see it, tons of touches there, here. So that's been great support. We want to see it stay above 840 and hopefully break out of this 9, right? So just kind of stuck within this range at the moment. A few times it has been able to pop out of that 9, but again, just slams right back down. So we're looking for that to get going. Hopefully, as the volume increases, guys, look at the volume here now, right? You're getting some good volume right now at the moment. Hopefully, that continues to increase and stay up there, get a nice little ramp going, and just get that volume moving there. So we'll see. All right, heading on down to Wish today. Wish this morning, there's a couple of levels here. We do have 1251. We also have 15 all the way up here, of course. Moving to the left, we can find some levels here on the daily. I like this one here. Look at this area of support happening right over here. My pen's still not working. There we go. Level of support happening right in here. Resistance and more support and resistance over at this 1354. So that's a nice level to have. We got to break out of 1251 though, and hopefully get going. So we'll see. Pre-market action right now is okay. This is probably out of all the stocks, this one does not look great though. Out of the ones we have here. So Wish is okay. And let's mark down the high of the pre-market over at 1227. We'll throw a level there as well. Here's AMC, guys. Again, this thing has been so explosive and so fun to even watch. I mean, it's just been incredible. High of the pre-market, we're sitting over at 62, 63. We'll throw a level on there. And then towards the bottom, I think all you need to mark down is really the low of the pre-market and the high of the pre-market. The rest is set for you. I mean, the price action literally right now stuck between the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. And then slightly above that, if we were to get going, which again, it'll be tough to get above this 65. That has been a struggle over the last couple of days. We're looking at 68, 65, and then all the way up here, which is their all-time highs, guys, somewhere around 72, 65-ish or so in that area. So you're pretty much set on AMC, guys. Great volume right now. Let's see if we can get back towards that not all-time highs, a pre-market high this morning. Riot, guys, again, pretty active right now. We do have shares for short. Low of the pre-market 29.80, 29 to be exact. Let's see how many shares for sure we have. Yeah, not much though. Only 100,000. That can be gone really quick. So that might not be there for long. Right now, 29 is the low of the pre-market. Towards the bottom, we are looking at 25, 29. We'll throw a level there as well. Slightly above that though. You know what? This level is good for this day here. Right, you got a nice little pop here off of this one, but really, if you look closely, and you look at this one here, this 29.68. This is a much stronger level, and I explain to you why. If you look at these wicks here, look how they're hitting right on there, guys. That's amazing, and then that becomes support. Yes, we do have a little drop here. That's great. That sticks out more, But if you look at the real meat of things, here's where it is. Here's where you're getting a lot of action. This 26.65 towards the downside. So I'm going to put that on there and have that set ready to go. Now, towards the top, guys, we do have our highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. You do not need to add any more here. I do have some levels here. I can upgrade this one now to 37 as well there. What else we have? We have 39.71 all the way up here. Another great level, great area of support. We'll leave that there. And I think we're pretty much set, guys, for Riot. So we'll see where this goes. Down 8% this morning. Not looking too good right now. Big drop for them today. Here's NVIDIA, guys. NVIDIA at the moment, low of the pre-market is going to be at 734.21. Above this, we do have our highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. You can mark down your pre-market high over here at a 750. So you can throw a level there, but you do have some pretty good highs and lows in previous day close on here, doing a pretty good job. Now towards the bottom, guys, we're going to mark down 722.08. Let's throw a level there. And then if we do lose that, 710, which is a great level of support and resistance right on here. That's already marked down for you from 2 days ago's low. So that's pretty good there. All right, so NVIDIA, you're pretty much set right now. Very active this morning. This is good activity for NVIDIA, guys. If you watch NVIDIA quite a bit, you know they do not move well and they do not get great volume. You know, 225 for NVIDIA is pretty good. They are looking very nice this morning. Probably one of our favorite stocks today on the list. Heading down, let's look at Citigroup. Citigroup today, again, I like Citigroup because of this drop here. This is a big drop for them over the last couple of days. So they could be finding some kind of support here. You might get a little bit of a pop. Again, banking stocks, guys, don't trade all that well. Their volume has increased over the last couple of days. Over at 53 million, almost double what they normally do. So that's interesting. That can create hopefully some good price action for us. High of the pre-market, 68.41. Towards the top, guys, couple of levels here. I like this one right on here, guys. This is a strong level. I know it's far out, 71.30. You can see the support happening there, the resistance, more support. I love this retest here before we took off again. So 71.30 is a very good level. You do have this one here, not as strong as that 71.30, but 70.20. You can mark that down. That is the low from about 3 days ago, 3 trading days ago. So that's fine. I think you got pretty good levels towards the top here. I don't think you need to add any more. And then towards the bottom, you have your low of Friday. And then you also have 66.91. Where's that coming from? Right over here, 66.91. And since we dropped some more, let's do some more levels towards the bottom, just in case, 64.74. So we're prepared if this thing does want to move aggressively today. Again, normally they do not. 143,000 shares trade is not quite a lot, but that's just on there because I do like that daily quite a bit. Possibles, we have plug on here. We'll see where it goes. Daily's okay. It's not really in play, guys. These are just some stocks we have here in case something is going. AVXL is in play. They're up 11%, but I don't like their pre-market action. I think it looks rather choppy. Their spread's a little bit high, and they're just not getting great volume right now. They started moving early. That's why they have 378,000 shares traded. They started moving early, but they're not really trading well pre-market. Hopefully that does not translate into the market open. Hopefully I'm wrong and that does get better. ATOS as well is a little bit all over the place. I love the daily more than anything. We'll have to see how this turns out. VXRT, no, I don't think this thing is in play. I mean, it's got a nice pop of 3%. It has ran up in the past before, guys. We've seen this take off, but I don't think this is really in play. Let's get rid of this. And then CL and E, yeah, this is just a mess. Look at this day. Look at this pre-market action. Now, this is the type of stock that you don't put too much weight on the pre-market action and the daily. You're looking for volume to come in and hopefully a breakout. That's all you're looking for. Get a couple of scalps and be done with it. So for the most part, that's what we're looking for there. So that's a possible for now if it can get the volume and if it can get going. ORPH this morning, low flow stock sitting at 2.5 million shares traded. This thing has taken off in the past. Very careful with this one, guys. I remember now Thursday and Friday were not great, especially Thursday was pretty crappy. So you know what? I'm actually going to take it off. Hopefully you can find something better out of ENOT. What do we have here? Now, see, this is what I was talking about, right? You got this initial pop, you go sideways, and I just start this like slow sell-off that doesn't ends up doing nothing. So I'm going to take it off. I might be wrong, guys. This thing later down the line can take off. But usually when I see this pop very early on this high and then just kind of pushing volume around, they tend not to trade very well. Unlike AEI, now this, on the other hand, this is looking very nice. Nice little pop here early on. You got a continuation, got the volume. The volume continues to come in here, guys. Almost 500,000 plus every single 5-minute candle. That is great pre-market activity. You're finding a little base here on the VWAP and the moving average. That could be nice, hopefully, for a test of the pre-market highs again, sitting at 827. So we'll see if that can get going. Going to the left here, the price action right now is sitting at a level of support and resistance. We'll throw a level there at a 748 or so. And then all the way down here, obviously, this is a level here at 636 as well. Let's look towards the top, guys. If we were to take off here, you got a level here, great area of support, and also resistance right on here at 908. And if we were to move up even higher, this is another great level also being tested a couple of times here, this 1075, right? So we'll see if this thing, if that's in the cards for AEI right now. Right now, struggling to support this line, trying to really stay above this 9 moving average. Let's see if it can do that. Again, the battle's happening right here. If this thing can squeeze here, it will definitely get to 827 and more if we can get up there. So we'll see. Good volume right now coming around. Let's wait for the next couple of minutes to see where this thing's going to be ending up in. All right, that is what we have, guys. Let's take a look at our moderators lineup. Let me resize this, bring this over, see what's going on with our moderators this morning and see what is on their mind as far as their watch list today. It is Monday, start of the week. Things are not looking too good as far as our watch list. Definitely not a blockbuster list like we saw last week. But last week we had a day, I forget what day it was. It was just our watches was horrible. But if you guys remember, things really got turned up right before the market opened. Things got going, and that was very nice. So let's see if we scroll down here. Let's see what we got going on. So, all right, so here's Jarad. We'll start with Jarad. Guys, our meetups links are in the chat room and then also on YouTube. You do not have to be a member. So we got June 24th. We also have Friday in New York. No, wait, that's not it. Well, it is Saturday. I believe it's Saturday. I think it is July 3rd. So again, check those out. Links are in the chat. Jarad is looking at the SPY, BTC, and also AMC and Wish this morning. Thor is looking at AMD, Wish, AMC, Nvidia, and the SPY. We do have, guys, new session with Jarad. Friday crypto with Jarad. So this has been pretty nice. At 11 every Friday, so don't miss it. Put it in your calendars. Here is Mike. He's looking at Nvidia. Dima is watching TRCH, Wish, CLNE, and Apple. No IPOs for this Monday. Eamon likes JD, Bank of America, secondary list, Twitter, Wish, and Ride. Tiffany's looking at Wish, Nvidia, TRCL, and Tesla this morning. Peter's looking at AMD, AMC, Wish, secondary list, Citigroup, MNOV, and also AEI, low flow of the day so far right now. Here's Brian List looking at AMC, CLNE, Mara, Wish, and also AEI for fun this morning. That is definitely the low flow stock of the day, guys. Looking pretty good and still holding to that 9 moving average there. Trying to stay above that. Let's see if it can manage to do that. All right, folks, that is what we have so far to start this week. Quick recap, we have TRCH looking very good this morning. Again, moving sideways here. We're stuck within this range, hoping that this thing can break out of this. That would be nice to see this blow through that 9 there. That would be pretty cool. So let's see what happens there. Heading down to our other list, we have Wish. Oops, let me switch this over. Here's Wish. Also looking very active this morning. This is probably just some transactions being posted. Don't pay too much mind to that. Here we have some action right now at the moment. Let's see if it can break out. AMC looking very good as well. Great volume. Riot down quite a bit this morning. Little shares for sure. Not quite a lot. Not quite a bit there. So we'll see how that turns out. Nvidia is very active, guys. I do like the daily on Nvidia today as well. They're down 1%. And Citigroup here trying to break out, guys. I do like Citigroup this morning after such a massive drop over the last couple of days. So that is what we have. All right. Let's see here. Are we going live? Is Andrew going live on YouTube today? Do we have enough likes? What's going on there? Let's see. Let's see if we do have enough likes there. We'll see what we do. All right, we'll check. I'll wait for our admin team to let us know what's happening there. In the meantime, guys, I think we have a pretty decent list for a Monday. It's not great by all means. I mean, we've definitely seen better. And you can tell here by the moderators, their lists are very, very small, very tight compared to what they usually have, and very similar stuff that we're watching. AMD is probably the only one that I think I do not have on my list. Let's take a look at AMD. Last couple of days have been very, very good. Nice little pop here on Thursday, and then a possible continuation on Friday. Didn't quite get going. That could be interesting today. We'll have to see. Taking a look at the overall SPY today is important, guys. We had a very exciting week last week with FOMC meetings and notes coming out. Let's see how that's going to play into this week. What is the SPY and the overall market going to do? Jarad spoke about this in depth this morning. So if you're not waking up early enough, set your alarms to 7:55. Join Jarad, Engineering the Markets, every morning at 8 a.m. in the morning Eastern time. I know for some that could be a little bit painful, but you will learn a lot. So trade some pain for some learning. That could be okay. What else we have, guys? All right, so Andrew is out today. So Andrew is not trading today. So we will not have him live, guys. So over on YouTube, we will see you guys tomorrow. Remember, tonight we have the onboarding class at 8 p.m. Eastern time with myself, Mike, and the rest of the moderators usually join in and help us out. Kyle right after that at 9 p.m. with the advanced tech classes. So make sure you don't miss that. If you're new, if you have not tried out the chat room, check us out. Do the onboarding trials. That's $24. You can do pre-market 24, and I will see you tonight. So we have 575 likes on YouTube. That's pretty nice. I can't see the number. I don't have it up.
No,
is that what we have?
205, brother.
Oh, 205. I'll say if it's 575, we'll go live with whoever is trading live today. So Brian will be live today, I believe, with Thor. We'll go live to the end of the day if we have 575. But okay, it's only 275. All right, guys, take care. Trade safe. We will see you tomorrow. Again, it's Monday, guys. Things don't look all that great, so just be patient. Be patient today.
Sure.
Norm, you talk about this all the time. The environment changes this time of the year. Yep. So you also have to adapt. The volume is not there. The volume dries up a little bit. People start going on vacations. It's just a whole different animal when it comes to summer trading, and we're starting to see the tip of the iceberg on that. So, guys, stay safe, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Take care on YouTube. We'll continue here in our chat room.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.